Big welcome to the Market Research Podcast that earned recognition 2 years in a row in 2019 and 2020 as being named one of the very best in the marketing research field. This is Research Business Daily Report, our videocast, podcast, whatever you'd like to refer to us as, but it's a service that has delivered the top research news of the day, Monday through Thursday most weeks since February 2012. And we are recognized as the research industry's only daily research video report. So please enjoy today's RBDR and any of our other reports, but also please lend your support for our research news video series. And you might be asking, how do I do that? Well, on the screen to your right now, you can see where you can go online to sign up to become what we call a Patreon supporter. We hope you'll do that. We'll tell you a little bit more at the end of today's video. I'm Bob Lederer, and I'm in my 26th year as the respected voice in market research. We are pleased to welcome back again Ipsos' Senior VP of Brand Health Tracking, Emmanuel Probst, today. Now, in his spare time out on the West Coast, Probst is a consumer market research professor. He teaches an MBA-level marketing course at UCLA. We, with Emmanuel, have been reviewing some of the most pertinent advertising and branding issues that exist today and that are covered in his new book. It's called Brand Hacks: How to Build Brands by Fulfilling the Consumer Quest for Meaning. It's going to hit bookshelves any day now. Today, Emmanuel speaks about cultural change in society, something that we all are being exposed to virtually every day. But in this case, it's how it can and actually is forcing the hands of some long-established brands to make some significant changes. You're going to hear about several of those, including Uncle Ben's, which has been newly renamed Ben's Essentials, and the Italian super brand known as Dolce & Gabbana. Emmanuel?
Bob, clearly our culture is becoming a lot more diverse and a lot more inclusive in a good way across demographics and across consumer groups in general. Well, what does this mean for brands is they absolutely need to adapt. Here's what's different between now and 5 or 7 years ago is not only consumers will reject brands that don't adapt, they'll take action, meaning they will advocate against these brands. So in short, consumers expect, in my experience, they expect brands not only to be aligned with current culture, but they would veto these brands. Consumers would advocate against these brands if these brands are not on point, on message, tone deaf type of. And I think a good example of this, a very recent example, is a legacy brand like Uncle Ben's that is the rice that many of us grew up with. And we all likely remember the logo of Uncle Ben's, which was a black man. And let's be clear here, Bob, there is a heritage here, there is that legacy, if you will, that refers to slavery. The brand understood that this was no longer acceptable in today's society and evolved the brand name into Ben's Essential, and also evolved its advertising and its messaging around an experience, a product that is a lot more inclusive and that is a lot more diverse. And if anything, this new campaign shows people in real situations, a mixed-race couple, someone cooking for his roommate, and so on and so forth. So not only the brand is more aligned with today's culture, but it's also a lot more relatable. The case of these brands, because they were so clearly identified as those legacy brands, again, that refer to slavery, my short answer is no. I don't think there is much risk. To be blunt, those brands had a lot to lose. Not only newer generations of consumers will not align with those brands, but once again, they would advocate against them. So those brands would have been on the decline, a very sharp decline for the next few years anyway. The change they're making here, in my opinion, is risk-free for them. But if I was involved in research at Jemima or Uncle Ben's, We spoke about demographics and psychographics a few weeks ago, you and I, and that's a prime example. Yeah, we can research core demographics, and we will, in the case of a brand like Uncle Ben's, understand how different ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds may align with the brand or not. Importantly, I would want to understand how people relate to the product in light of their heritage, of their beliefs, in light of their values. And then I would want to understand these moments of truth. When do they use the product? What occasion? How do they relate to the product? And that's not really just going into product usage, if you will, but I want to understand what emotions do they associate with the product, because of course that emotion should be togetherness, and it should be that home cooked meal, and it should be something comforting and reassuring, and in any case should have nothing to do with slavery. We are going to see, I believe, many brands adapting to current culture, and here's why: because consumers take action. At Ipsos, we see this in our studies, that is, younger generations of consumers, millennials and Gen Z, also what we politely call ethnic minorities, expect brands to take action and will campaign against the brands that do not. I'll take a tough example. Dolce & Gabbana is, as we all know, a prestigious Italian fashion designer. About 2-3 years ago, Dolce & Gabbana created advertising with Asian models eating traditional Italian food. And those Asian models didn't know what to do with themselves. They were trying to eat spaghetti with chopsticks, or they were trying to eat a pizza with chopsticks. Well, the Asian community believed this was humiliating, embarrassing, condescending, derogatory, whatever word you want to use. What happened is the Asian community boycotted Dolce & Gabbana literally overnight. D&G had to cancel a catwalk. There had hundreds of thousands of negative social media posts and negative mentions in the news. They lost millions of dollars. Now, granted, by now they probably recovered, but it's a way to illustrate how a strong brand, very well respected all over the world, like Dolce & Gabbana, can in a matter of 24 hours upset one of its most important, if not its most important target audience, as Asians are big buyers of luxuries.
That wraps up today's Research Business Daily Report. And we'd like to ask you for a small favor today. RBDR has been nominated to compete with numerous other marketing research podcasts for the honor of being named the 2021 Marketing Research Podcast of the Year. We'd really like to win that designation. Please examine the description box underneath today's video, where you can click on a link that will take you to the page where you can cast your vote. Now, voting will continue until Tuesday, August 31st, but please do so on your own today, maybe even right now, if you can. We thank you for viewing today's video, and we hope that you'll appreciate our work enough to consider becoming the aforementioned RBDR Patreon supporter. It's easy enough to do. Go to our exclusive crowdfunding platform at patreon.com/RBDR. We hope you have a good research day, and we'll look forward to seeing you with us again tomorrow. And wherever you are, please stay safe.